Pluto is a seinen story written by Naoki Arasawa and Takashi Nagasaki, the authors of Monster, which is a masterpiece all on its own right. The story is based off of Astro Boy's The Greatest Robot on Earth arc by Osamu Tezuka. Our story follows Hold on, give me a second.
Gesicht.
Okay, I think I got it now. Our story follows Gazach as he tries to solve a string of murders surrounding the 7 strongest robots on Earth and their creators. Pluto's character writing is leagues beyond many of the most popular battles shown and around, blowing shows like Demon Slayer out of the water with its tight ensemble of well-developed characters.
Nezuko!
Seriously, it was great seeing various character motivations in such a short story. I mean, it was crazy how much they were able to fit in these short 8 episodes. Furthermore, the political narrative baked into the story creates thought-provoking conversations that extend into the real world. There aren't many shows out there pushing the audience to question their own country's foreign policy. Well, I guess I can think of one show. Though Pluto is a modern rendition of The Greatest Robot on Earth arc, the subplots and character motivations are nothing like the original story arc. Whether it's Gazick's traumatic past or North Number 2's yearn to find a new meaning in life, the plot of Pluto has drastically been altered for the better, shedding its childlike fantasy for a more adult and gritty world. Characters don't feel one-dimensional like they do in the source material. Each and every one of these robots have more life breathed into them than any of the Hashira or other large ensemble casts we have met in modern anime. But Urasawa's attention to detail makes these mechanical monstrosities feel human, even in a way the people of this world don't seem to understand.
Oh, hey kids. You two are supposed to go through that gate.
Huh? Actually, this is the right one, sir.
Huh? So you're robots?
My favorite example of this is North Number 2, a robot who's been meticulously designed for mass murder. It's so bad that he must cover his body in the greatest pump cover ever created to be seen as anything more than a weapon. He ponders his existence and wonders if he can ever be anything more than a weapon of mass destruction. He wants to find another purpose in life and discovers music. God, why does anime have to cover music in the most depressing way? He's assigned as an aide to the geriatric Sir Duncan, a talented composer whose scores were once world-renowned. However, Duncan is now washed up and resents technology. He pushes North Number 2 away again and again, never allowing him to help around the house and constantly putting him down for being nothing more than a machine. It isn't until North Number 2 reveals Duncan's past and the truth behind his mother's abandonment does Sir Duncan truly accept North Number 2. However, as we finally see this monster turn into something more, Pluto comes to collect his dues. Sadly, we never get to see North Number 2's fairy tale ending, but we do get to see him become more than just an instrument of war as he brings peace to that old man's soul. North Number 2 wasn't the only machine yearning to be more than just their programming. Throughout this dystopian world of Pluto, robots are always trying to assimilate towards humanity. Whether it be Adam's attempt to taste or Gazick's wife's crocodile tears, there is a constant struggle from these robots to feel more human. However, this world has a strict social hierarchy that must be enforced, as machines serve their oppressors and become nothing more than scrap metal when they become obsolete. This highlights the divide between the working class and the upper class that plagues our world as well, where workers are viewed as expendable and are often neglected for progress and capital. But there's an even darker resemblance to our world. Robot hate groups with clan imagery plot in the background about how to put down robots and their cause for equality. But what separates humanity and robots in this world? What's the difference outside of exoskeletons and flesh? The idea this story revisits again and again are memories.
Here's to the ones that we got.
Or rather, the ability to forget or being forced to forget a memory. Robots are looked down upon for their inhuman ability to recollect memories, while humans may only remember crucial details and meaningful memories. However, this double-edged sword shows a streak of humanity in machines that can't even be rivaled by men, in the form of PTSD. Hercules, a robot on the front lines in the War of Persia, recalls his friend trying to wash his hands to cleanse himself of the massacre he just committed. This, coupled with North Number 2's account of the war being able to bring up every detail, creates a horrifying nightmare. Imagine having a 4K accurate feed of every regretful memory you ever had. You could remember the smell of the rain when you got dumped, the number of flower petals you laid on that fresh casket, or worst of all, the look on that person's face when you realized they were waving to the person behind you. Politics in my anime? Hold on. Sorry, I'm back now. I think I was overreacting anyways. This can't be that political. The main villain of Pluto is the United States of Thracia. We can just call them the US now to make it simpler. So the US accuses Persia, a country in the Middle East, of creating weapons of mass destruction.
I take the fact that he develops weapons of mass destruction very seriously.
Only to invade the country and find no such weapons. However, because of said invasion, the country is destroyed and turned into a wasteland. Afterwards, a third-party investigation is done. Turns out, Iraq never had any weapons of mass destruction. Due to the destruction of their country, Persian scientists strike back by creating the demon Pluto. The United States of Thrasia's obsession of playing the global police force for their own self-interest ultimately leads to its own downfall, As the enemies it creates along the way of their expansionist project creates a cycle of vengeance that will only lead to the mutual destruction of both nations, which beautifully ties into the overarching theme of the story. Hatred is a cycle. Whether it's Gazik's loss of his child or the death of Zahad's dream of creating a beautiful land of flowers, the hatred they harbored always comes back to bite them.
And revenge only begets more revenge. Listen to me, the hatred would never fade away.
You're right. About hatred. It will never fade.
The most impressive part of the messaging in Pluto is when it was written. Urasawa wrote of the shift in how foreign policy would be conducted. Gone were the days of trade pacts and deals for resources. In order to be a major player on the world stage, you had to have nukes. Nukes in the 20th century went from deterrence to bargaining chips. Pluto highlights the shift using generational characters from Astro Boy in the early 2000s, long before the rise of today's major anti-war sentiment. While I did love Pluto and the elevation of the source material, it's no One Piece. There are a couple major criticisms I have, the biggest being the severe disappointment in Pluto's reveal. The massive build-up over hours of content to have a lackluster unveiling of the titular antagonist gave me more blue balls than realizing there was only 10 minutes left in Across the Spider-Verse. However, this can quickly be overlooked with the slow reveal of the motivations that led to Pluto's rampage. It more than satisfied my thirst for mystery, as the intent of Persia and Thracia slowly unraveled throughout the second half of the narrative. Urasawa's ability to introduce such complexities in this two-dimensional world is truly inspiring, making it almost unrecognizable from the source material, turning 80 pages into 8 hours of a roller coaster of emotions. His injection of political narrative was crafted alongside the story, not derailing it or muddying the narrative, but complementing it beautifully. Pluto solidifies Netflix's already solid run of amazing anime content, as they deliver what is in my opinion their best show yet. But just wait till that Wit One Piece remake though.